the first Japanese player, male or female, from your country in history to win a Grand Slam final.
What does Lance Armstrong, Steve Smith and Ben Johnson all have in common? They're liars. What does Marion Jones, Tammy Thomas and Serena Williams have in common? They're liars. But what makes Serena Williams a special kind of liar that tops all those others is she uses the I am a woman card to blame a man for her actions by labelling him sexist. Just as a side note, when I did a Google search for Serena Williams to grab an image for this video, the first 150 images were showing her behaving badly. That's the legacy that you will leave behind when you're a dick. Oh, but don't worry people, Nike will do a campaign like they did with Colin Kaepernick.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
Hers should read, believing in something, even if it means being a dick. I've said this before in other videos, hashtag don't be a dick. Anywho, unless you've been living under a rock or raised by wolves, I find this to be a great example on how to be a poor role model and a big sookie pants. You know how the story goes. Serena launches into a verbal attack on chair umpire Carlos Ramos as she crashed to a 6-2, 6-4 defeat by the well-behaved, calm Naomi Osaka in the women's final. The 23-time Grand Slam champion was given 3 code violations by Ramos. The first for receiving coaching. Well, that's a warning. The second for racket abuse. That's a point loss. And the third for verbal abuse of an umpire. And that, my friends, is a game loss. She had demanded an apology from Ramos during her rant and later called the punishment sexist, while claiming she was fighting for women's rights because male players got away with similar antics.
When are you going to give me my apology? You owe me an apology. Say it. Say you're sorry.
I've seen other men called other umpires several things, and I'm here fighting for women's rights and for women's equality and for all kinds of stuff. And for me to say thief and for him to take a game, it made me feel like it was a sexist remark. The WTA, or the Women's Tennis Association, recently expressed disappointment over the handling of the match between Williams and Osaka. I would also like to express my disappointment as well. In a society where bullying, harassment and hate speech is something that the world is committed to eradicating, we somehow allow this public display of intimidation from Williams and applaud her for her stance to have equal rights for women. During a post-game interview, Williams said,
"But I'm going to continue to fight for women and to fight for us to have equal. Like Courtney should be able to take her shirt off without getting a fine. Like this is outrageous." You know, and I just feel like the fact that I have to go through this is just an example for the next person that has emotions and that want to express themselves and they want to be a strong woman, and they're going to be allowed to do that because of today. Maybe it didn't work out for me, but it's going to work out for the next person.
The only thing I saw that didn't work out for you is your bullying and intimidation tactics to violate your opponent. So you are going to fight for the rights of women to lie, cheat and verbally abuse people of authority. Even 18-time Grand Slam title winner Martina Navratilova said Williams behaved in a way no one should be engaging in on the court. Fancy Serena calling Carlos Ramos a liar and a thief. I'm no Sigmund Freud, but after studying demonology, this sore loser was projecting her pathetic emotions as a defense mechanism in order to cope with her losing to Osaka.
I don't need to cheat to win. I've won enough, and that's never been something I've ever done, you know, so.
I also think Serena was more upset about not being able to take the number of Grand Slam singles titles from the greatest tennis player of all time, Margaret Court. Court won 24 Grand Slam singles titles, something Serena may now never achieve. So rather than coming to terms with her opponent whipping her ass, she resorts to abusing the umpire and slamming her racket, crushing it on impact, and having all this witnessed by hundreds of thousands of budding young tennis players who look up to her. I guess we shouldn't be so harsh on the girl. I mean, it's not like she's a serial racket smasher or umpire abuser, is she now?
Don't pick on me. I'm sick of you picking on me.
Oops, didn't see that coming. Well, on this day, Serena, you showed us all what is bubbling deep inside you, and it's not very nice. Seems to me you have an underdeveloped awareness about how you behave and a very poor mechanism to regulate your emotions under stressful situations. Some would say that you lack what it takes to be emotionally intelligent. You lied, and you know you lied. Even your coach, Patrick Mouratoglou, and your ex-lover, has admitted to coaching you.
Motion that you made that was interpreted by the chair umpire as coaching?
Well, I mean, I'm honest, I was coaching.
Personally, I think all coaches should be held to a higher standard. We all know 100% of the coaches coach 100% of the time, so hit them with a massive fine for violating the rules as well. Williams said,
There are men out here that do likewise, but because I'm a woman. Because I'm a woman, you're going to take this away from me?
let me just see if I get this right, Serena. Your argument towards Ramos, the umpire, who, by the way, is very well respected, undertook his duties as an official umpire according to the relevant rulebook and acted at all times with professionalism and integrity during this match, is that you think women have to be treated the same as men. Oh, you mean that because some male tennis players behave like dicks, women should have equal rights and behave like dicks also. So rather than raising your standards to the highest degree, you want to take women down to a level of dirty play and name calling. Check out a game that happened in Brisbane not that long ago before your match. In a striking comparison just 1 week before, Roger Federer, arguably one of the world's best men's tennis players, went down to Australian John Millman, and the reigning champion held his composure and graciously accepted defeat without a tanty. A true gentleman. Now let's get to the caricature created by Mark Knight. Firstly, here is the definition of a caricature: is a picture, description, or imitation of a person in which certain striking characteristics are exaggerated in order to create a comic or grotesque effect. And in your case, big hair, big tutu, and big lips. And we may as well throw in that leftist novelist J.K. Rowling, who led the charge tweeting, "Well done on reducing one of the greatest sportswomen alive to racist and sexist tropes, and turning a second great sportswoman, Naomi Osaka, into a faceless prop." And there we have it. Throw in the racist and sexist card when we have nothing left to argue on. Pull out the card and that will get tongues wagging and lips flapping. See what I did there? Serena is black, Carlos is brown, and Naomi is biracial. The cartoon was no more offensive than another one that Knight drew, showing our Prime Minister Scott Morrison as a cuddly muppet. He had also drawn a sulking, petulant Nick Kyrgios on court just the week before. When I see the caricature, I see a brilliant depiction of another petulant, spoiled, sore loser, but there was just one thing missing on the cartoon. A big dummy. Now it's perfect. This video should be focusing on the tremendous win in this match, and in this case, 20-year-old Naomi Osaka, who was born in Japan to a Japanese mother and Haitian father. She won her first ever Grand Slam title by defeating Suki Pants William.
The first Japanese player, male or female, from your country in history to win a Grand Slam final.
I know that everyone was cheering for her, and I'm sorry it had to end like this.
There was no need for Naomi to publicly apologise, but that's how emotionally intelligent people behave. It's a lesson for everyone, regardless whether it's sport, business, or your social life. The only thief I see in this game was Williams, who stole the limelight by making it all about her and not about the winner. G-Man's verdict? Serena, don't be a dick. Carlos, be a little bit more consistent in fining all players for code violations. Coaches, stop it. Just stop it. Naomi, never apologise for winning ever again. I think the last word or tweet goes to Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who wrote, "Congratulations, Naomi, for kicking this sore loser's ass and reducing her to showing us all how little integrity she has. Oh, by the way, all of Japan loves the way Mark Knight depicted you in his caricature. You made us all proud." I think that's what it said. I would love to know what you think. And if you haven't as yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, why not? Hit that bell icon before I give you a code violation. Now go away and don't be a dick. I'm Gerald Pauschmann for The Point TV.
Oh, I think that's a very negative thing to say.